Good afternoon, everyone. We have a game of Dota. We have a game of Dota between Maphack Slayers, which is on the Radiant side, and you see Gamers League standing there, and that is because they have 3 stand-ins, 2 of which are from Gamers League, so that is why you see that tag right there. The other team is Know Your Enemy. They changed their name, though, it seems, to YLDZ. And I have to admit, I don't know what that stands for. I did not have time to ask that well in the lobby, but that doesn't matter. We have a game of Dota. A game of Dota for 4PL Cup number 10. It is a game in round 2, I have been told. And there's going to be 7 rounds in total. And there is a lot of teams playing in this cup this week. So get ready for a lot of Dota 2 tonight. And I have to also say, if the games take too long tonight, then we will...
Radiant team back.
Wait a second. There we go. If the game takes too long tonight, then we'll have the rest of the games, the rest of the rounds, probably like either the last round or the last 2 rounds perhaps, played on Tuesday. So keep that one free in your agenda just in case, because there are a lot of teams and there might be, the time on Tuesday might be needed indeed. So far, let's see what these 2 teams have made of it so far. We have a Lycan Van out, a Darkseer, Nature's Prophet, and a Lone Druid. Means that Naga Siren's still in the pool as well as all the jungle heroes, so you might see those one popping up. And, well, other than that, it's basically Naga Siren, Lycan, and the Darkseer that are the 3 heroes that are almost banned out constantly. Rubik gets banned out a lot, but gets through a lot as well. We do see him banned out just now, and there goes the Naga Siren. So let's see what I'm gonna make this mistake. Let's see what Maphack Slayers wants to do with this. And they go for a first pick Morphling. I'm sorry for all you people that don't like Morphling, that have seen him owning games. I have to say though, a small comfort, all the Morphling games that I casted today for the World Cyber Games Asian Championships, all the Morphling games, Morphling lost. So there is still hope for you anti-Morphling fans, because I know there's quite a few of you. It's a Leshrac pickup on the Dire side. Let's see what they're gonna complement it with. I have recently seen a lot of Leshrac Tidehunter picks, as in Tidehunter just being picked up very early, regardless if it was the Leshrac or not. But we might see a Tidehunter pickup in the first 3 pickups, because it's just one of those heroes that as soon as he's level 6, he'll try to force team fights, and you can get that control over the map, because you can just you can choose, like, go for a push on the tower. Either the other team will be forced to team fight you, or they will be forced to give up your tower. It's a good choice, and normally the first tier 1 towers, it will always be the tier 1 towers that they give up, depending on their lineup, of course, and on of course the state of the game so far. But it is a hero that's being picked up a lot and has a high win rate as well. Just something I have to note. It is Invoker though that gets picked up here by the Dire side. So far for the lineup, I mean, in theory both of these good solo lane. I do think we're gonna see a support Leshrac with Invoker solo mid, but I'm not giving away that much. I mean, Invoker is a good hero all around, good early, mid and late game. Same thing goes for Leshrac, one of those heroes that is a heavy pushing hero, but also, I mean, early game is useful, mid game is useful, and late game is useful as well, so not giving that much away. And it is indeed a Tidehunter pickup here for the Radiant side, and a Queen of Pain to complement that. So right now, I like their strategy. They have already said what their strategy is, kinda though. I mean, Queen of Pain is one of those heroes that around level 6, level 8, she's gonna be in her prime. She's gonna be jumping around, literally jumping with her blink, and trying to get kills on the map. A successful gank could lead to, well, basically she's gonna distract the attention from the Morphling, so the Morphling can free farm, and Queen of Pain will be the main attention for the Dire side, and at the same time it will be Tidehunter that's gonna force those team fights. If they do want to fight, then there will be a Ravage, and that is not something you really wanna fight against. Let's see what the last pick is before the next banning phase for the Dire side. What heroes? Well, if they want to have a counter to the Morphling, I mean, Lone Druid is already out, Anti-Mage is still in, so they could go for that. But this pick will probably, unless it's a support, will probably say a lot about what they want to go for. Because right now, like I said, they don't give that much away about their lineup, but they know now what they're facing up against. So it's either, well, I'm gonna say everything, it's either team fight or support or carry. It's basically covering every base there. But Yeah, I would like to see something maybe like a team fight hero. I was gonna say Enigma actually, but Sand King works good too because of course we all know the Sand King Leshrac combination does mean that still. I mean, all the jungle heroes are still in, right? I mean, we have the Enchantress, we have the Chen, we have the Enigma. Let's see. And the first pick is of course going to the Radiant side, so they might ban out 2 of those and have the third one for themselves. And Enigma is indeed the one that gets banned out here. Of course, you don't want to have the Enigma Black Hole combination with Sand King Epicenter. That is just too much to deal with. So good ban out of that. We might see a Chen or an Enchantress ban out from them as well, unless, of course, unless the dire side thinks, you know what, we know what they want to do, and we're not gonna let them do that. But we'll see what they ban out. I mean, they could ban out a support as well, even though we have seen Tidehunter playing that support role. The only downside is that he will take some time to get to level 6. But if you jungle with him properly, as in on a dual lane, then he will be level 6 quite fast. And there indeed goes the Chen. We might see an Enchantress ban out as well. Chaos Knight now banned out by the Radiant side. Again, Leshrac with the Chaos Knight is a good combination, and then you don't have to rely on the Sand King to be there all the time. And it would be, I mean, if you want to go for a mid-game strategy to get stuff, kill stuff before Morphling is too big, then Chaos Knight is a good one, indeed. But Chaos Knight out of the pool, and there goes Enchantress. So that is no jungle hero left in the pool anymore, as all 3 just got banned out. With basically the Dire team having to ban out the Enchantress, because otherwise the Radiant team would have picked it up. But that will mean that we either going to see some unorthodox jungle heroes, which could be the case, or we're gonna see some tri-lanes, or 2 dual lanes of course, with the dire side. I mean, dual lane Leshrac Sand King is very strong, Invoker solo lane, so that will mean that's only a dual lane left for the dire side, and there's still a lot of dual lanes in that are normally pretty strong, like for example Shadow Demon Brewmaster, combinations like that, or anything with the Shadow Demon, to be fair. Shadow Demon is just good support, and I have to say, we haven't seen enough Shadow Demon lately, or I haven't anyway. Let's see for the pick for the Radiant side first. And I have to say, I say Radiant side every time because every time I am tempted to say Gamers League. It is actually not Gamers League, it is Maphack Slayers. But because they have the team profile activated, it's easier to say Radiant side just so I don't make the mistake of saying Gamers League. But they're taking their time. Only 35 seconds left until their bonus time. I mean, I have a Morphling. If you want to tri-lane with a Tidehunter that needs some kind of range support, maybe Crystal Maiden or Venomancer, both good supports. Queen of Pink and solo, and then they just need a solo lane. Of course, Radiant side doesn't need to have a support just yet, because there are so many options left in. They could go for their solo lane, secure that one, and then go for the support at last, because of course there's only going to be one support being picked up by the dire side, if any, if not a Shrek is the support.
Disruptor!
Oh, never mind. Never mind, there's a Disruptor, and it's the Broodmother being picked up. No hesitation from the dire side. They don't want to give the Radiant side any extra time to think about their last pick. But Broodmother is the one, and of course, there's already a Tidehunter on the side of the Radiant. Tidehunter is a counter to the Broodmother, as in solo lane versus solo lane. But it is a nice hero nonetheless. I mean, okay, I was not expecting that one.
Team pick.
Well, in that case, I have to say I don't cast a lot of X games. I do like the pickup. I mean, he can jungle. I was talking about unorthodox jungle heroes. Oh, and I will just notice that I haven't changed the tag of the teams that are playing. I will just update it that way. There we go. So it is Axe. I was talking about the unorthodox jungle heroes, and Axe is definitely one of those. He can go into the jungle, and he can even be very aggressive on the lane, or just be on the semi-tri lane and come out of the jungle sometimes to just throw down a battle hunger, which is very annoying to deal with, might I add, especially if you're Sand King or Leshrac laning. Of course, Broodmother will be okay with her spawn spiraling. She gets the last hit, so she doesn't take that much damage, but it's still an annoying thing to deal with, for sure. Basically saying Tidehunter will be solo against the Broodmother, Axe in a jungle, Disruptor and Morphling together, and Queen of Pain solo as well. So I do think that is the lineup. 27 seconds left on the side of the Dire to think about their last pick. I mean, they didn't use their bonus time all that much just yet, so they can just use everything that they had. Let's see, what could they use? A Windrunner. They could use a Windrunner apparently. So it's gonna be Windrunner solo lane, Leshrac, Sand King. Well, actually, they have a lot of options here. Windrunner could go together with a Leshrac and a Sand King. Broodmother solo. Broodmother could go dual lane with something else, and Invoker solo lane. We don't know. The Radiant side was a lot easier to guess in that account. And I will switch overlays because we are going to jump ourselves into the game very shortly, as soon as everybody picked up their hero, which is actually now, to see who is playing what. So for, well, it's actually know your enemy, but I'm gonna forget that apparently because they changed their names into YLDZ. I'm gonna say hello, hello. It's polite to say hello back. So let's see who's playing what. We see Time Wanderer playing the Broodmother. Thank you. We see NNZ playing the Sand King. Revanche is going to play the Invoker. Nighthawk on the Leshrac. And Gehenna is going to be playing that Windrunner for the Dire team. Let's jump ourselves over to the Radiant team, where people are getting ready to start. As we see the nice ponytail from X, who is played by Zapcrash. We see Sava Doom, the stand-in. They are actually playing with 3 stand-ins. Just pointing that out again. 3 stand-ins, and that's why we see the Gamers League tag as well. 3 stand-ins for Maphack Slayers, all from, well, at least 2 from Gamers League. Sava Doom is one of the stand-ins on the Disruptor. Neri is going to be playing the Tidehunter. Fails is going to be playing the Morphling. And Heisu is going to be playing the Queen of Pain. And in case people are wondering, it is allowed to play with 2 stand-ins. If you want to have 3 stand-ins, you're going to have consent from your opponents, which is actually given. So that is why they are allowed to play with 3 stand-ins for this tournament. Let's see who is going where so far. We have got everybody going towards the top lane for the Radiant side so far. Tidehunter, Queen of Pain. Tidehunter is not going to be playing this portal. He is, of course, yeah, he will be up against the Broodmother and the nice courier. It is the Boxhound, something like that. Lockjaw Boxhound. That is it. He has 1 eye. He looks very tired, but that's him. And we have another pause. A lot of pause. A lot of pauses. I'm quite curious to see how these are gonna lane. So we do have a tri lane with or it seems to be a tri lane with the Sand King, the Shrek, and Windrunner on the bottom lane. Even though Broodmother's on her way there as well, so I'm not sure who is going to be going to the mid lane afterwards. I mean, it could still be 2 dual lanes as well, with Broodmother Windrunner staying around and the Sand King and the Shrek going towards the mid lane. I mean, they have a lot of options. They really have a lot of options to lane these as we are waiting for the pause. They didn't, well, they said second. Okay, they need a second, that is fine. Invoker looking to be solo top. He already picked up Blades of Attack. He's going to go for Quas. Probably Wax, because it's such a useful spell. I mean, if you're versus I say useful spell, I mean useful combination, I should say, because of course it's not a spell in itself. But if you're versus the Tidehunter, he doesn't have that high of a mana pool, and if you can just EMP him, then you don't have to be afraid of the Ravage that might be popping out. So a good one at that, and I do think that's a solid build in this case versus the lineup that they're facing. And it looks like the Broodmother will. I really don't know. I will have to see until the game starts what their lineup is gonna be. Nobody on the top lane so far. Everybody middle. Yeah, they're going middle too. Sorry. Nobody is finding one another. X doesn't expect anything just yet. I do like his outfit, I have to say. I do like his ponytail, his braid.
The battle begins.
And it is a haste rune that will be on the bottom rune, will be picked up by the Dire side, or at least they have a pretty secure chance of picking that one up. I was gonna say, run away from it. And we do have the Invoker on the top lane with the Broodmother in the mid lane and the tri lane bottom for the Dire side. Let's see the lane ups for the bottom, for the Radiant side. We do have the Tidehunter there. I do think that, I say do a lot, I know. He's probably gonna switch as soon as he notices. Well, they now notice that the Broodmother's there. They're probably gonna switch. With these denies from Broodmother coming out, they don't want that Morphling having to deal with that. Morphling and Disruptor will be in the middle lane, but like I said, they might just switch around with this Tidehunter, because Broodmother is just fine on this lane. He doesn't matter that mind that there's no Tidehunter there. Just like Windrunner is okay that there's just a solo Tide there, because Windrunner will be able to get farm regardless. I'll put the last up hits and the nice up. And on the top lane, it is the lane that they intended to have, probably at least Queen of Pain versus Invoker. That's a pretty solid lane up, and we're gonna see those just go at it and with one another, and both of those should not die in theory. That's basically the case. I mean, especially if he goes Quas Wax, then he will be having that invisibility, and the link on Queen of Pain will make sure that she's not able to die just yet. And we do have some rotation going off. Disruptor already on the bottom lane. We might see Morphling switching later on. Unless they think, you know what, Morphling is having a good time here. He's 3 for 1 so far, Broodmother 1 for 3. So he is getting the better of the lane. If it's gonna continue, we don't know, we'll find out. At least Tidehunter is not getting that much done. Even though, the thing about having a tri lane versus a lane that has less than 3 is that you want to be able to win your lane, or at least deny enough so that it's worth having the tri lane there. So far, I mean, okay, Tidehunter only has 3 last hits, which is still quite a lot actually for Tidehunter melee versus 2 ranged on a tri lane. But the most important thing to note is Tidehunter is getting levels like crazy fast. I mean, level 1 still up on all the dire heroes and almost level 3 up on the Tidehunter, so that is a massive difference, and that will mean that he will have his Ravage up fairly fast. In the meantime, we see Sentry Ward being placed in the middle here, with Reform through Broodmother in a lot of trouble here. I think she might be regretting being up against Morphling right now, but Morphling is almost out of mana. And I mean, as soon as she has her Soul Ring up, she will be able to spam that Spawn Spiralings up on her opponent, and that will probably mean the end of the almost free farm reign of the Morphling. But we'll see how that goes. I mean, still, I would say in theory nobody is supposed to die here, but then again, with the Sentry Ward there, even though Broodmother now knows that it's there, we might see some surprise coming off from Fails as he tries to get more harassment in on that Broodmother. Just switching back to the top lane. Yeah, sorry, almost thought something was happening. Wow, X, what are you doing? I was wondering, he is so low, but he just leveled, it looks like. But that was a it was almost the first blood for the neutrals. Because I normally don't pay attention to that jungle hero, but of course, you know, X is X. So maybe he was just slightly careless and not getting lucky with his helix. That's the thing that you have to be afraid of if you're X. If the RNG gods aren't on your side, then you're gonna be in a hell of a trouble. And we have a go once more. But X will be staying alive in this case. And one extra thing to note, of course, is that there is indeed an X. There is indeed a jungle hero up on the Radiant side, and no jungle hero up on the Dire side, which is costing them for sure. Not only because they make it 3 versus 2 right here on this lane, giving that extra experience to the Tidehunter, which they don't even try to harass out of the lane. But also because they just missed that extra golden experience in the jungle. And that is just painful. And I have to say, I mean, if you're gonna go for the combination of the Burst Strike stun from the Shrek, then a Disruptor there is quite good to have. I mean, he'll be able to glimpse back your aggressor, he'll be able to kinetic field your escape, secure that for yourself, and of course Tidehunter is a very tanky hero, so he won't die instantly. He needs that extra time. And it's a double damage room for Savadoom on the Disruptor. In the meantime, nobody else just dying yet. I mean, normally as a caster you look for where's the first blood gonna be. And I was expecting on the bottom lane, just because of that combination, but they're playing so passively, even though they're up against a tri lane, it almost looks like they're afraid what might come out of the jungle at any point. Of course, you know, that's Axe. That could be the case, that they're afraid of the Axe, who is actually on his way out of the jungle. So we might have a first blood coming off here from the Radiant team. Let's see if that's actually gonna happen though. They see Axe, I believe. They saw him move there. They have a ward standing right there. And there's a Battle Hunger up on the Sand King who's gonna pick up the Haste Rune or not. No, Morphling picks up the Haste Rune. Burst Strike through, and Sand King is gonna be in some trouble as Morphling just thinks, you know what, I'm just gonna go there and I am gonna try to get the Sand King. Will there be a weak form through? Will there be something? They're sticking around though. And here comes the support. We from through. Sand King is in trouble. There's a Battle Hunger. Might still turn into first blood. Some from the Shrek not hitting anything. Fails, taking a turn around the corner. A couple right clicks needed, and it is indeed first blood going to the Radiant side, going to Fails on his Morphling, securing that early game advantage that you normally don't want to give to the Morphling. In the meantime, though, it did give Broodmother the time to free farm some, but still, it is Morphling that has the most free farms up, most last hits up the map. It is Morphling that picks up the first blood, and it's Morphling that's gonna be causing trouble for the Dire side for sure. And so Windrunner fairly low, but she popped herself, she's gonna be fine. Level 4 up on the Tidehunter, no Ravage just yet. In the meantime, Queen of Pain 18 for 14 with Invoker being 15 for 8. So very even on this lane, but like I said, nobody is gonna die just yet, and until someone declares the laning phase officially to be over, which is probably when Tidehunter gets level 6, or when Axe is deciding to come out of the jungle a lot more, or when Queen of Pain picks up her ultimate, Until that happens, these two will probably not go off their lane. There's a level 4. Level 4 also up on the Windrunner, so it looks like the advantage that they gave the Tidehunter early on is now gone a bit. They were able to harass him enough to slightly get ahead, or not get ahead, but slightly get some experience gained back here. But we'll still see the experience lead for the Dire team, not just because of the axe, but also, of course, because of the first blood. Goldgraf, same thing. And double damage from picked up by the Brute as he's chasing down the Morphling. Spawn Spiraling's there as well. I don't think that he's gonna be able to kill it, and he knows that too, so he backs up. No Sentry Ward up again in this middle lane anymore. So Brute Mother is gonna be safe. Doesn't have a Soul Ring yet, would be able to buy it right now if she has the gold for it. But I guess she just doesn't want it yet. And of course the donkey was in use, so... Oh, that is not a smart choice. Courier will be fine. And there's another Sentry Ward. There we go. In the meantime, ganking team on the way. I call this ganking team because they are very good at making ganks, unless they're getting scouted out, of course, like just now. And there is a ward there right next to the Dire ward, so they saw them coming. So we might see a counter ward coming off from the Dire team sometime soon, as she's very low here, but she's able to blink away. She shouldn't be in any trouble. I say shouldn't, but you know, you never know what might come off from an invoker. And he picked up Cold Snap and actually Queen of Pain backs out, knowing that she doesn't have bottle charges anymore. The courier was in use, and she doesn't want to risk dying to that invoker, giving him the advantage of the lane. She'll just run/blink back and then TP back to the top lane to continue her farm. Just like Morphling is continuing to farming. I mean, he got a kill, nice and stuff. 35 for 3 with Broodmother, 25 for 6. Oh, being very low though, but then again, no more. No, there was a cooldown on the Spawn Spiralings. And bottle charges are there, of course, too, which the courier just brought, so he's gonna be fine. Broodmother out of mana, Soul Ring on cooldown, which she now has, so that is good. We've come through. Oh, Broodmother in a lot of trouble here, but is gonna be making her way out again. And now she knows that there is a ward standing there. So she's gonna be extra safe. And she doesn't have any regen anymore. She can't use the Soul Ring now also. She'll be on solo life. Even though unless Leshrac gets a good stun in, but then still, they might just trade kills, and that is not what you want. You want to have a kill without going down for it. Am I not right? Of course I'm right. Meantime, Axe level 5, I mean, he's the secret farmer here. That's the secret weapon of the Radiant team. Because right now, they are holding their ground while being outnumbered on the map. Is something for the Dire side that's not really good, and they're a Tidehunter level 6, so we might even see him go and try to go for a kill on this top lane. He wants to throw out his Ravage. His Invoker that doesn't have his invisibility ready. He had it earlier, but not anymore. It is nighttime, so he might be able to sneak around here without being seen. There, he's being forced back slightly, giving Tidehunter some time to walk around. Morphling in the meantime killing off the Broodmother in his middle lane by himself once more. 2 kills. The 2 kills on the map that are now done are indeed for the Morphling. And Ravage being used, hit on the Invoker, Anchor Smash will finish it off. So that is a successful use of the Ravage, and with that, taking the advantage on the lane, on the top lane, is just very important. They already had the advantage on the middle lane. Bottom lane, they didn't really win that bottom lane, but if you consider they are being outnumbered there all the time and they didn't die, that is basically winning it. That is basically winning the bottom lane also. So far, Maphack Slayer is looking very good. That is the Radiant team, by the way. Even though it says Gamers League, there is stand-ins from Gamers League that activated their team profile. But it is Maphack Slayers that is fighting here versus Know Your Enemy, who changed their nickname into some letters. Gank up on the Windrunner. Will there be something else? I was gonna say, yeah, there is. Glimpse wasn't even needed. Execute was there, which is actually not Execute, but Culling Blade. But Execute sounds a lot better. In the meantime, top lane might have a Burst Strike up on this Tidehunter. There we go. Is there gonna be more? Is there gonna be anything more? No more mana left in the Invoker. The Shrek stun is not hitting in time, but the right clicks will still happen, and the kill will probably still happen as well. Tidehunter not gonna be safe, and there we go. Invoker picking up the kill. They lost their tower though. They lost their tower, and that was the first kill that the Dire team got so far. And I still think this Morphling is just such a threat to the Dire side. I mean, they have got a Broodmother, which is nice. Who'll be able to split push, but Broodmother has definitely lost her lane against this Morphling here. Even though right now, since Morphling left her alone, she is going to be able to push down towers. That is the strength of a Broodmother. Even though she might lose her lane, which she did, You always have to have someone against her, because otherwise your towers will just go down one at a time. Fire lanes up on the Tide, who has got a Stout Shield as well as Kraken Shell. I've been told that as long as the Kraken Shell is level 1, Stout Shield will still be better. As soon as Kraken Shell is level 2, it's better than the Stout Shield. And there goes Edict Tower being pressured here. Fortification being forced out. There is going to be some defense from the Radiant team, but if it's going to be in time to save the tower, I am not sure. Here comes the Axe. He's going to throw down a Bellwanger up on the stand, who's being forced out instantly, probably having to back off. Tidehunter has a Ravage in 8 seconds. It's not going to be in time again to anymore to do something here, as everybody of the Dire team backs out. And I bet he wishes that he used his Ravage earlier in the previous fight that he used his Ravage, because otherwise that would have been a fight that would have totally been on the side of the Radiant team. Not enough HP on these heroes to do anything about it, because look at their items. I mean, Leshrac 0 last hit. I mean, that was the first tower that went down. That's where they have to get their money from. And his Windrunner that's farming here on this bottom lane, 54 last hits. She is doing good on last hits. She is being the semi-carry that they need to reform through. Will be fine though. She's being the semi-carry that the Dire team will need. If she's gonna be able to do it properly enough to face down a Morphling, we'll find out. It's gonna be a tower that's gonna go down first here though. The fortification is no longer there, was used on the middle tower, and there's no defense coming off from the Radiant team, so this will be a safe tower for them to pick up, and it is a creep stick at the last hit, so all the gold gets split. Tidehunter has his Ravage again, so we might see him just trying to push down a tower, saying, you know what, you can fight me, but then you have to fight a Ravage. X escaping death here as everybody of the Dire side goes past him. Tower is being pressured, and it will go. Nah, will not go down so far. Shackle is latching Tide. He still has his Ravage though. He wants to use it. Burst Strike his first though. Is there gonna be anything more? No, not before the Ravage hit. Anyway, Sand King is gonna go down. Morphling dominating as he weaves over his head. 4 for 0 now. Shackle will not latch on the Morphling, and he still has a Replicate up as well, so he is relatively safe. Broodmother is not going to be safe. Is being glimpsed back into the kinetic field. There is a Sentry Ward there as well, and he goes down. Mega kill, double kill for Failed, who wants to go for something else. Will they be able to do it? Edict is on there, making chasing a bit harder, but they all set up for the tower instead, and they will get it. And Morphling getting the tower. Morphling, I'm just going to put this one up. Look at that gold per minute up on that guy. 440 gold per minute up on the Morphling, highest in the game so far. That's no surprise, but look at the difference between the second highest, which is the Invoker that was on the top lane. It is such a massive difference. No Ravage anymore, so I do think they will try to back off and go again for another day. Go again another day, I would say. Not for another day. That's no English. And Morphling will just continue farming, this time probably on the bottom lane, unless they think, you know what, we're going to try to find a fight again. Aggressive word being placed. It's going to be the last tier 1 tower that is on the Dire side that is going to be the target. That's what this word indicates. They're going to get the illusion rune up on the Morphling, teleport from the Tide towards base. I mean, he doesn't have a Ravage yet anyway, he wants to have full mana, wants to be ready when the time comes when he does have his Ravage up again. And there is the farm for the Morphling. Or at least, no, there's no farm. There's the farm for the Morphling. Disruptor level 6. It's got a Static Storm up again as well. Anybody that comes in close will be having to deal with him. The Morphling with his illusion room. It's gonna pressure down the tower, and it seems like the Dire is kind of unsure how to deal with this, because they know they probably can't kill the Morphling. For one, he is way higher level than they are. I mean, level 6, level 5, and level 5 on this lane, and level 11 on this Morphling, so that is quite painful. And look at the damage on the tower being done. Invoker being level 9, so he is quite close to the Morphling, but if we look at the level difference in total, I mean, it's the Broodmother that was also on the mid lane that is almost higher than, or is almost as high as the Morphling, but still Morphling so much higher still. With Broodmother just not able to have that advantage that the Broodmother normally gives. I mean, there is no lane that is unoccupied where the Morphling, sorry, where the Broodmother can put down some pressure. Morphling back in the mid lane farming. Tidehunter, Queen of Pain, finding the Broodmother. I mean, look at the level difference. Not only those three are just so low level, but the Radiant team is actually, they have 3 heroes level 9. Sorry, 2 heroes level 9, 1 level 10. In the meantime, Boris back up on the Disruptor, who's getting shackled, who's getting stunned, who's going down. The next target is going to be the X, but here comes the Morphling, making a replica, is looking for a target. Do they back off as soon as they see it? Ravage is up again, is being used again, and there goes the Sand King, there goes the Windrunner, and the rest is on the way out. 4 staff on the Morphling, or not on the Morphling, but used on the Morphling, as it's not going to be enough anymore to catch out someone, but that was just Tidehunter just being able to be there on the spot, Ravage being used, and just solid use of that. And I'm just checking who had the 4 staff. Axe has the 4 staff. Nice. I mean, normally you see Axe with a blink dagger just being able to blink in and go for that Berserker's Call to force everybody in place. But 4 staff is just as good. Well, not just as good. I mean, it's a bit harder to control, but still. It's definitely a nice one to have up on that axe, and it is of course easier to build since you have to build it in portions rather than having to save up that amount of money, which maybe he thought he didn't have a chance to. Even though he hasn't died a single time just yet, it's still 9 for 2 with the Radiant team definitely in the lead. Tidehunter farming quite fast as well now, even though he had a rough start with last hits, but he didn't have a rough start based on level, so he is doing good. It is looking good, and the tier 1 tower goes down, looking good for the Radiant team that is. For the Dire team though, I feel like what they need to... What did I just do? Where did she go? Ah! Nice. Windrunner just teleported down to the bottom lane and then got glimpsed back to where she came from, which is the top lane. Quite nice. But I feel like what the Dire team needs to do is they need to get a good burst like Epicenter in, although right now, I mean, Sand King is only just level 6. So they only just have the opportunity to do that, and like the levels show, they are no longer at the advantage with that epicenter. The leveling is just... That tri-lane really wrecked them up. If you have a tri-lane, if you're running a tri-lane, you need to make sure that you have the advantage of the lane. And they did not have that. They kept it even, regardless of the number of heroes standing around for the Radiant team. They knew there was ward, they didn't counter ward. Sonic Wave, Queen of Pain, pops her Unstable Hunger, is gonna go for the Tidehunter. Is still not enough though. Tidehunter just right-clicking her down. And it is the Tidehunter that actually picks up the kill there as well. It is not looking good for the Radiant team, even though for the Dire team, even though the Radiant team is being quite careful still with their pushes, with their kills. I mean, they know they're at the advantage. We see the gold graph going towards the 7.5k. We see the experience graph over 10k, which is no surprise. And that was actually in the chat that you now see is in regards to the rune that just got denied by the Invoker. But they're making sure that they are not overextending themselves, which is the basic trap that you have. If you're ahead, you want to be able to keep ahead. I know that's logic, but oh, do we have a smoke? Yes. But the most common trap is to overextend and lose your advantage that you have. Shackle will latch on the tide. EMP Tornado going through as well. Ravage no longer being able to use. That is Tidehunter down. This might turn around good for the Dire team. They're trying to get the axe. One more right click needed from the Invoker. Will be able to do it. No wax for extra movement speed. Epicenter being used in all of that as well. Glimpse back on the Sand King. And there goes the axe still going down. As we're gonna see them chasing down the Disruptor. Disruptor who's trying to run for his life. There will be a shackle soon again. Is not latching though, not yet anyway. Stun on the Shrek hits, and that is 3 down for 0, and that is why you go for EMP, so for Quasi-Wax on that Invoker. You saw the animation of the Ravage being used, but the EMP just hit a second before that, and then he was out of mana.
Dire's bottom tower.
Out of mana, no use for the Ravage anymore, and I don't think Morphling was in a fight, so that kind of cost them as well. But those kind of fights are the fights that the Dire team have to find. They have to be able to deal with those, to outnumber the opponent, and to make sure that there's not going to be a Ravage. And right now they were able to. It doesn't look like they're going to get anything in return though, apart from kills, as in normally you see teams getting a couple of kills or winning a team fight and then getting a tower or a Roshan, but they're not getting anything in return right now. The tier 2 towers, or tier 1 tower even, on the top lane still being defended. Levels of the Radiant team are not high enough yet to have them being away, like dead for so long. So the death timers are just quite short. That's my, well, you know, that's what I wanted to say. And it looks like, you know what, they still have the Ravage. They're gonna continue pushing. They think, you know what, you can't do it again. Try us. There's a Sonic Wave, there's a Static Storm, and there is a Smoke. And there is an Axe with the Force Staff. Was building towards a Vanguard. There's also a Broodmother that sees them walking through. They now know that he's there. Do they have anything to... Yeah, there's the dust. They find the Broodmother. They find the Kinetic Field Sonic Wave going through, but the Kinetic Storm Ravage. Wow, that is 3 dead. 4 dead on the side of the Dire's team. Morphling in the midst of all of that as well, and that was just total carnage. There was nothing they could do against that. Invoker was not there, so no EMP Tornado from him, no way to disrupt that team fight. And that was just the wombo combo that they had. Static Storm, Ravage, Sonic Wave, Kinetic Field, everything was there. And everybody dropped so fast. Wow, and I just noticed the gold per minute on the Sand King as well, so Leshrac looked quite sad.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
123 and 113, even the Disruptor has more, even though that's of course also because of the towers that went down, but it's quite sad regardless. Let's look at the net worth. Oh, that Morphling. Getting that first blood was the first sign of it. Morphling is gonna get big. He's got his Lincoln Spear, which we already saw. He has 3,700 gold. Maybe still deciding what he wants to go for. I mean, Ethereal Blade could still be an option. The heroes of the Dire team are very perceptible for that, and they are quite low level, so they don't have that much HP yet. So you could go for that. You might also just go for BKB, even though it's not really needed, and normally we don't see Lincoln Sphere and the BKB on the same target, same hero, I should say. You could also go for Manstaff. He has a lot of options. He is gonna be big regardless of what he picks up. To be fair, he's gonna be able to own regardless. And that is something that the Dire team have to deal with. They have to get something to deal with that. Maybe a Sheepstick, but then again, they don't have the farm to deal with that. They do have a mechanism now to deal with the team fight coming up. Burrow Strike, Disruptor will die here, so that is a smoke. Good use of a smoke. Invoker picking up the kill. They have an Epicenter as well, but still level 7 on the Sand King. It's just level 7 Sand King versus level 16 Morphling. That is how it goes.
Dire's bottom tower.
That is how it goes. It's Morphling that's just, you know what? Oh, picked up an Eagle Star, so he's probably gonna go for an Ethereal Blade. Unless he just wants to go, screw that, I'm gonna go for a Butterfly. Could be. You never know. Broodmother. Was keeping tabs on the levels with Morphling for a long time. But now she's level 12. She doesn't have a BKB just yet, still doesn't have that many items, as we see her gold per minute being fairly low as well, or net worth I should say, but as a result of that, gold per minute as well. And it is looking, I mean, if you look at the lineup, only the lineups, you don't see the state of the game, you think like, okay, lane advantage goes towards the Dire, late game goes towards the Radiant, with the Morphling being there, team fight should be fairly even. Even though Ravage is, I kind of prefer Ravage over Burrow Strike, unless there's a Blink Strike, a Blink Dagger for the Sand King, which there is not because he doesn't have any farm. So if you purely look at the heroes without the items that they have, but the laning advantage wasn't there for the Dire. The Trident that they had did not work out. The Broodmother that was middle lane did not work out versus the Morphling. I mean, the only lane that they kind of were doing okay was the Invoker lane, but as soon as the Tyranitar had his Ravage, he used it to make sure they got that top lane too. They used it to get that Invoker, to get the advantage, and that just marked like total advantage of the Radiant team on basically all lanes. Tornado, EMP, no more mana left on the Morphling. That is something. Tower shot going through. Trying to defend their tier 2 tower. There is a Ravage though, but where is the Ravage? Ah, it's on his way. He has a pipe. On his way towards the middle lane, and there is a drawing on the minimap that you can see. Wow. Is that the... Yeah, I was gonna say. That was just a marking of the Ethereal Blade being done. So it's like, hey guys, come look what I got. Bam! That is Windrunner dead. And they use that kill to be able to push out, and they have the Tyranitar now too, which is very low amount of EMP going down there. Broodmother being forced back into his base because it was too risky for him to be there. It will mean that they gave up the tier 2 tower. Bottle charges on Tyranitar, so he has got a Ravage once again. But I just want to point out that Invoker is doing a good job of being able to shut him down as much as they can, and there is a blink on the Roshan. They know they don't have any more towers to take care of apart from the tier 3s. And they don't really want to push in 5 on 5 on our higher ground, not without that 1 kill advantage like they had when they just killed off the Windrunner. Oh, actually, they smoked up. Tornado going through. Not revealing them though. Now revealing something, or having the axe there. Maybe they don't want to go for the Roshan after all. Maybe they want to have the Dire think they're going to go for the Roshan. Ethereal Blade! That Windrunner, buy yourself a cloak! Could have done so. I mean, she lost some gold now, but she could have gone for a cloak. And will Roshan be targeted? Yeah, it looks like he is. That poor Windrunner girl. I mean, it's a good thing she's not that high level, because then she's not dead for that long, I guess. If you look at it that way. But it is, I mean... I'm being asked and stuff to put up the gold graph, to put up the experience graph, but really we know how the gold graph looks. It looks in favor of the Radiant side. Quite convincingly at that. And there goes Roshan. And it is Morphling all around. Look at that. Morphling killing, Morphling invisibility rune, Morphling Aegis, Morphling 2700 gold, Morphling looking for a kill with his Ethereal Blade. Windrunner, do you have a cloak yet, girl? No. Almost. She can buy it now. She can buy it now. Why aren't you buying your cloak? Ah, being safe first. Tornado EMP. What do you think you're gonna do? Shackle is not gonna be enough to kill off the Invoker, even though it was a nice try. Disruptor backing out because he somehow realized that, okay, Morphling has left me. I have to get away. Still building towards his mechanism. This is just showing the state of the game. It's 27 minutes in. Disruptor has not done an amazing job with his farm. Even the towers were not able to help him that much apparently, because he still doesn't have his mechanism. And it is Morphling all around. Morphling is really making this game for the Dire team. Of course the Ravages are nice, and Axe, the jungle Axe was a nice touch, but he is not making the game right now. It could have been any hero, I feel like, that could have been that, and he is building towards a heart. As if he wasn't hard enough to kill to begin with, he is building a heart to make him even harder to kill. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Anyway, Aghanim Scepter completed on a Queen of Pain, able to throw out her Sonic Wave every 70 seconds, and there is a disconnect from the Disruptor. We're standing at the base, and we're having a pause because of that. And there is a crash. 1 minute until they're back up again. I'm gonna take a look at some more statistics because, well, actually, I'm gonna drink something and you can look at the statistics. Am I seeing that properly? 18k difference in gold? Yeah, I guess so. Level 8, and level 9 on the heroes that were on the tri-lane. Level 18, level 15, level 14. The highest heroes on the Radiant side. It's quite painful. I'm saying it laughingly, but I don't think it's a laughing matter for the Dire team, to be fair. It's looking quite bad for them. I normally don't call out I mean, I don't call out the game is over before that game is actually over, before the GG is called, because I don't find that good sportsmanship. There's always a chance, that's what I've been taught. There's always hope.
I'm grateful to you.
But right now, I don't know how they're gonna get back on top of it. I would love to be surprised, though. Surprise me. That would be nice. But right now, this Morphling, I mean, we've seen Morphling own. I'm guessing most of you watch the International. We have seen Morphling own a lot. And even though it's possible to shut him down, when he is this big, and you don't have anything to counter him, you don't have a sheepstick, you don't have a hard carry of your own that's being able to keep up with him, it's gonna be really difficult to do anything against him. And he's gonna look, it looked like he's gonna split push, maybe. No, they're gonna go towards the Morphling. We're gonna see BKB up on the Broodmother. He now has to complete. He doesn't have a TP. He can buy it though. It's very close to the shop, but he needs to buy it. Who is this? Oh, it's an illusion. Never mind. Ethereal Blade! That's a Windrunner gone. Still no cloak up on her. There goes the tier 3 tower. Deafening Blast going through Morphling in some trouble. Morphing into strength, but will be enough? I don't think so. Glimpse back on the Leshrac. Not able to chase down anything anymore, but the Broodmother's here. BKB turned on. Gets a kill on the Disruptor. Burrow Strike up on the X. Sand King doing what he can, as well as the Invoker. 2 for 1 so far, with Leshrac going down. Morphling getting a double kill. He killed off the Leshrac, still chasing him down after that glimpse. And of course, Windrunner still dying to that, oh, where did he go? Triple kill. There was the Sand King, and he goes down, and it's Fails that picks up the kill once again. Tornado spins him up into the air, but Ethereal Blade, well, on cooldown still, but does he mind that? I don't think so. Look at that damage. 4-star forward will be enough. Windrunner picking up the X with a power shot. Deafening Blast. Link is doing his job. Morphling might die, but has the Aegis, so we'll be fine. Picks up a kill on the Invoker before he dies. He is back up. He has an Ethereal Blade again in 1 second, but he's just reforming out, thinking, you know what, it's getting too hot here. I am just going to move back. I'm going to go towards my TP in here from the Sand King. We'll be able to throw down a Burrow Strike. Nice Shackle. Power shot. Burrow Strike hits the Tidehunter. Epicenter being cast as well, and actually kills off the Tidehunter. Morphling still on the run here. Looks like slight overextension. Nice Shackle here. Power shot as well. Burst Strike, and he will go down. And that was the first time that Morphling went down. He was 14 for 0 before he went down there. They're not done just yet though. They're counting on the Dire team to overextend. I mean, their melee barracks died, but they put up a good fight. They did put up a good fight. Queen of Pain trying to flee. 2900 gold. Sunstrike will hit, will not kill though, because it is a Quas-Wex Invoker. Only 2 levels at X-Sword is not enough to do anything there. And blink that, sorry, BKB up on the Morphling still goes for BKB. And like I said, we don't see that many Morphlings going for Lincolns and BKB, but right now, that fight on the where he died, if he had a BKB, he would have survived. And that's how he sees it, and that's like, okay, you know what, I have the gold, why not pick up a BKB? And still, oh, it's gonna be a 4-staff on a Windrunner. Still no cloak though. Quite surprised about that. I mean, if you're being picked up by the Ethereal Blade of the Morphling every time again, then you kind of want to have a cloak, right? To have some extra chance of surviving, maybe even a bracer. But nope. It looks like the target. Oh no! Wait a second. Target of the Broodmother is gonna be the Disruptor, and he goes down so fast. Morphling Ethereal Blade killing off the Sand King. I mean, Sand King, get yourself a cloak. He has a bracer though, but it's not enough. It's just not enough. Level 21 Morphling, and the Sand King is level 10, so 11 levels higher. 9 levels higher than the Strike. And he doesn't even need Ethereal Blade to kill him off with another Adaptive Strike. And they're gonna focus on the tier 3 in the mid lane. BKB being put on just because he doesn't want to get interrupted while doing so. Ethereal Blade. Oh, he stays alive though. Mechanism being used. Is it gonna be enough? It looks like this. Oh, grabs the hint. Ravage being used though. Still hits on 2. Invisibility on the Invoker. Shackle doesn't latch. Ethereal Blade. Well, not an Ethereal Blade. Just an Adaptive Strike. Finishes off the Windrunner still, as the Morphling is just focusing on the ranged barracks now. And the GG well played goes out. I mean, we weren't expecting it any other way. And it is Maphack Slayers that was able to pick up the win here. And I say Maphack Slayers, so you see Gamers League standing in the corner. That is because Maphack Slayers is playing with 3 stand-ins, 2 of which are of Gamers League, and they activated their own team profile. That is why might be slightly confusing. We are gonna find ourselves another game to jump ourselves into, because this is 4PL Cup number 10. There are a lot of teams participating in this cup. And there is going to be games all throughout the evening. We might not see the last couple of rounds until later tonight, as in, we might not see the last couple of rounds tonight at all, depending on how many games there are, in which case the cup will be ended on Tuesday, so that we don't have to miss anything, and we don't have to stay up on ungodly times to be able to still watch some good Dota, if you're from Europe at least. Waiting for the progress code, there we go, so you can see the end screen, even though I think you kind of saw everything that was. But I'll show it to you anyway, and I will be seeing another game shortly. See if there's anything I missed. Hard not completed yet on the X. And it's really Morphling that was able to do this 18 for 1. He went 14 for 1 before dying, I mean really. Nothing on the dire side to deal with that. Their trial lane not working out. Basically ended that story for them. Anyway, let's jump ourselves into the next game. Stay tuned for more Dota action coming up next.